maybe what happened yesterday will now affect his mindset at all?
Knowing the boy and the player, I doubt it. I've got confidence he'll understand the situation and the club's decision that we didn't want to lose a very important player and a top player so late on in the window. From a personal point of view, I very much back the club's decision and stance on that. Spoke to Dougie face to face yesterday. He understood where it was at and the position that the club was in, and he very much respects the decision. So hopefully it'll calm down in the hours and days coming, and he'll be fine moving forward.
Obviously you've been going through some difficult times on the pitch, but 2 new signings through the door yesterday. What do you think they'll add to your squad, and overall how happy now are you with the squad you've got going forward?
Yeah, I think both players bring vital Premier League experience, international experience. They bring profile into the team and stature, which I think we need. And I'm hoping they bring a real positive energy that is needed at the moment. And hopefully they'll give the current group some help and support that's very much needed, especially if you look at our recent results. So yeah, delighted to get them in. I think it was a challenge in both situations because they were very much in demand. So for them to choose Aston Villa and want to come here and play for us is important. And again, the work behind the scenes to get them done was crucial. So well done to them people as well.
In terms of turning those results around, how do you go about doing that this weekend against this Manchester City side, and this Manchester City side with an Erling Haaland who's just scored back-to-back hat-tricks?
Yeah, well, that's the challenge, and I think it goes without saying, you're playing against one of the best teams in the world, they're littered with world-class stars, arguably the best manager out there. So yeah, that's the challenge for us. It is what it is. We've ran this Manchester City side close on both occasions that I've personally competed against them with this team, and the plan will be again to make it extremely hard for them and try and take them where they don't want to go. We don't want to just go into the game because of what's happened so far this season with any fear. I want the players to go and have belief and confidence and try and make it as difficult as we can for them, and when the times come to show our quality like we have done here against Man City last year, we had an opportunity in the last final minutes with young Carney to snatch something, and we had this City team extremely worried for 76, 77 minutes, so we know we can hurt this team. So yeah, really looking forward to the game.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi Stephen.
Hello.
Continuing on that theme, how much of an enjoyment is it for you to pit your wins against arguably one of the best managers and best coaches in the world and the best team in the world, potentially? Yeah,
well, that's what I've signed up to do. That's the reason why I decided to go on a coaching journey from a personal point of view to challenge myself against the best in the world. I think the name and the person Pep speaks for himself. What he's done in the game as a player and a manager is very impressive. And yeah, tomorrow's another opportunity over 90 minutes for myself, my coaching staff, but more importantly the players, to go and give a good account of themselves. And there's no better fixture for us to try and bounce back from, because no one's happy with recent results.
With that in mind as well, is there a tendency when you're on a run like this that confidence levels and belief levels can sometimes drop? And how important is it for you and the coaching staff to make sure the players still have that high level of confidence and belief going into this game and the rest of the season? Yeah,
I think belief is very important at this level. I think you've got to believe in yourself individually, have belief in each other around the dressing room. There'll be a moment or a time where this clicks back into place, I very much believe. So it's very important that the players have got my confidence and my belief. We need to just obviously block out external noise and pressure and focus on what's in front of us, which is the game, and that's what I want the players to do.
And the 2 new signings, you mentioned it before, they bring a lot of Premier League experience, and that's important, isn't it? You've brought in 2 ready-made Premier League players into the squad.
We have, and I think it's also important to mention that international experience. Both of these players have played in very, very big games. Jan has come here to obviously challenge himself. I don't know the situation, what happened at Southampton, but it's a fresh start for him here. He's obviously got a World Cup on the horizon, so I know he'll be very eager to get into the starting 11 and stay in the starting 11. And we certainly need his aggression, his profile and his defensive capabilities at the moment to come and support the team. Leander's very different. He's playing internationally in one of the best teams in the world. Roberto Martinez has done a fantastic job with that team, and he's been a big part of that. So both players speak for themselves in terms of pedigree and what they're going to add to the group. I'm sure it'll give everyone a much needed lift right now, and you can feel that energy this morning, even though they've been in the building for a few hours.
Thank you.
Stephen, I was just wondering, as a player, nobody put more pressure on you than yourself. As a manager, how now then do you remain calm in a situation like this, right through this storm? You've only been in the job 10 months and you've spoken already about bringing positive energy, the players that you've brought in, what's needed in this group right now.
Yeah, you're right. The only the word pressure obviously comes when you're on this run of results, which is to be expected. I certainly accept that, but the only pressure I feel right now is the pressure to put on myself, and that's for me to be the best I can be, for me to prepare the group in the best way, and what I expect of the team and my staff around me. That's the only pressure I feel, but there's two ways to look at pressure. You fear it or you accept it, you take responsibility and you try and bounce back as quick as you can.
And with Pep Guardiola, am I right in thinking when you were starting out on coaching or wanting to become a coach, you wanted to try and spend some time, you know, in his company watching what he does? Did that ever happen?
I think that was the original plan. So when I first started out at Liverpool with the youth team and the 19s team, part of the plan was to try and get round to as many top coaches as I could to, you know, try and get a feel, try and steal some material and experience from these guys, because they've obviously been doing it for a long time. But obviously the Rangers opportunity came a bit quicker than expected, and that's what can happen on this journey. You know, things happen and you take different turns and different decisions, but what I would say is every time I've been in his company or he's been in the room, he's always gone out of his way to be very supportive, and you know, he's obviously someone that every young coach looks up to. I looked up to him as a player. I was lucky enough to compete against him, and I'm obviously in a very privileged position now to compete against him, but I certainly don't fear that. Got total respect, but these are the coaches and these are the teams that, for me in my position, I certainly want to pit my wits against.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Stephen. Stephen, sometimes when managers are in these situations where results are not good, they create a training ground siege mentality. Is that what you do that with your players? We're in it. We're alone here. We're fighting this together alone.
Yeah, I don't think we are alone. I think we've got an incredible fan base. I know they're frustrated at the moment. I think we heard that, and I certainly felt that last week. But you don't just create a siege mentality when you go through a difficult patch. That's something you try and create from the first minute you walk in the door. It's a good test for us right now. It's a good challenge, and I said to the players last week, now we see who's prepared to roll the sleeves up a step forward. Time to stick together and fight, and as I say, I've got every confidence we can pull through this difficult patch.
Just finally, outside of here, nobody on the planet gives you a chance against Manchester City. That's the atmosphere you feel. Do you use that as a motivational thing with your team?
Very much so, but that should be in everyone's individual DNA. You know, they are a fantastic team. They've got world-class players. I obviously can't sit here and be any more respectful to them, but they're a team, and everything's possible in football. I think you've seen that a few weeks ago up at Newcastle. Newcastle performed ever so well, and we're unlucky not to beat Man City. City showed why they're champions and obviously bounced back to take a point out of the game. But these top sides, Liverpool, City, the other European superpowers, they can have an off day, and things can happen within the game that can shape and change the results. So we need to have that belief, and we're certainly in with a fighter's chance.
Good luck with it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Morning, how you doing?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. So I think I'll have to ask the team news question. No one's asked it. So how are we looking?
Good question actually, because one of the new signings is struggling a little bit this morning with his throat. Leander's got a bit of a throat issue, so we'll have to analyse that as the day goes along. I'm hoping both players can be part of the squad. We'll obviously got a training session now, and we'll make a late decision on both. But Leander has got this throat situation that is just getting checked out by the doctor, so we'll make a late decision on both.
So, what things have pleased you about what you've seen from your team so far this season? And is it now just about trying to find a rhythm? I think a lot of managers at the moment are saying the same thing, they just haven't been able to quite click yet.
I think before you get into a rhythm, you have to find the result. And tomorrow we have that opportunity. If it's not tomorrow, then we try and get it in the next game. But we need to fight. We need to show everything we can over the 90 minutes tomorrow to try and find the result. It's the result that we need now, and then on the back of the result you can try and get into a rhythm. I think the most pleasing thing for me is I don't think we're too far away. I think you can see players, in the first half we never played well from a technical point of view, but you can see players fighting, running hard, working hard for each other, putting the bodies on the line, and they're really pushing and fighting to get back into a better place. That's the pleasing thing for me. Hi, Mona.
How tough will the game be tomorrow night?
I think I've answered them questions by talking about the opposition manager and the team. I think City and the coach speak for themselves. Everyone's aware of the size of this challenge. But for me, it's exciting at the same time. It's an opportunity for us to, try and get the result that no one on the planet expects us to get. That's what football and sport's about, is to try and go and achieve something that no one gives you the chance of achieving. That excites me.
And obviously 2 good signings with Premier League experience. Does the fact that they've proven themselves in this league make your team considerably stronger?
I'd say so, and that's the reason why we've made these decisions. We had the opportunity, one being a loan and one being a permanent signing, to add pedigree to the squad, profile, strength, players who've played in big, high calibre games. Obviously we had the huge setback with Carlos in terms of the centre-back and not having him available, so it was important that we went and got a central defender. That was a priority. To get someone in with Jan's experience is a welcome boost. And obviously the Leander Dendoncker situation come up very late. He wasn't on any lists because we didn't believe that Wolves were going to let him go, but I think a lot of players are in this situation where if they fall out of a manager's first choice, if you like, they obviously start thinking about World Cup situations, and it came up late. And this is a player who's played for Wolves for many seasons, and he's finished high up in the Premier League, so he knows what it takes. He's also been part of one of the best international teams for the last few years, so we're hoping again he can add some much needed quality.